For decades, the pinnacle of automotive performance was synonymous with Europe, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche. America, while dominating muscle cars, struggled to plant its flag in the ultra-exclusive supercar realm. But amidst this European hegemony, a solitary figure in California harbored an audacious vision: to build an American supercar so advanced, so powerful, it would not just compete, but utterly redefine the genre. This wasn't merely about speed, it was about a philosophical challenge, an engineering crusade to prove American ingenuity could triumph on the world stage. It's a story of ambition, innovation, and ultimately, betrayal. The man behind this vision was Gerald Wiegert. An industrial designer by trade, Wiegert was an unapologetic futurist with an obsession for aerospace technology. He believed traditional automotive manufacturing was outdated, slow, and inefficient. His dream wasn't just to build a fast car, but to construct a road-going aircraft, leveraging materials and techniques typically reserved for fighter jets and spacecraft. He founded Vector Aeromotive in 1978, a company born from pure, unadulterated ambition, determined to build the ultimate machine, no matter the cost or the complexity involved in such an undertaking. The first tangible manifestation of Wiegert's vision was the Vector W2 prototype, unveiled in 1978. It was a radical departure from anything seen before, a wedge-shaped concept car that looked like it had landed from another planet. The W2 wasn't just for show, it was a testbed for the advanced engineering and materials that would define the Vector brand. Its aggressive styling and aerodynamic principles promised incredible performance, captivating the automotive press and public alike. This prototype signaled Vector's intent, a serious challenge to the established order, built with meticulous, almost obsessive, attention to detail and design. The W2 evolved into the production-ready Vector W8, a car embodying Wiegert's unyielding aerospace obsession. Every component, every material choice, screamed aircraft. The chassis was a semi-monocoque aluminum honeycomb structure, bonded with epoxy, akin to fighter jet construction. The body panels, a mix of carbon fiber and Kevlar, offered immense strength with minimal weight. Even the wiring harness was military spec, sealed and waterproof. This wasn't car manufacturing, it was precision aerospace fabrication applied to an automobile, resulting in an exceptionally rigid and lightweight platform designed for extreme performance and durability. At the heart of the W8 beat a custom-built Rodec aluminum 6.0-liter V8 engine, fed by twin intercooled Garrett turbochargers. This formidable power plant was rated at a street-legal 625 horsepower, a monumental figure for its era, pushing the boundaries of what was considered achievable for a road car. Wiegert famously claimed the engine could be detuned for race applications to produce up to 1,200 horsepower. This wasn't just a big engine, it was a complex, highly tuned unit designed for brutal, sustained performance, reflecting the founder's obsession with power and reliability, albeit with a robust, heavy-duty 3-speed automatic transmission. The numbers claimed for the Vector W8 were nothing short of sensational, placing it firmly in hypothetical hypercar territory. Vector claimed a top speed exceeding 220 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest cars in the world. The acceleration figures were equally impressive: 0 to 60 miles per hour in a blistering 3.9 seconds, a time that even modern supercars strive to achieve. With 649 lb-ft of torque, the W8 promised immense, instantaneous power delivery. These figures, while often debated in practice, set a new benchmark for American automotive aspiration and generated immense global excitement around the car's potential. The Vector W8 was designed for the absolute elite. With an initial price tag of $448,000 in 1991, it was one of the most expensive automobiles on the planet, comfortably exceeding the cost of many established European rivals. This exclusivity was further emphasized by its extremely limited production run. Only 17 customer cars, plus 2 prototypes, were ever built, making each W8 an incredibly rare automotive artifact. This scarcity, combined with its bespoke, hand-built nature, solidified its status as a collector's item from the moment it left the factory, if it ever truly did, on schedule. While Wiegert's vision was grand, the reality of manufacturing such an ambitious vehicle on a small scale was fraught with challenges. Each W8 was meticulously hand-built, a process that was incredibly labor-intensive and time-consuming. This wasn't an assembly line, it was a bespoke workshop. The aerospace-grade materials, while cutting-edge, were also expensive and difficult to work with, requiring specialized tools and highly skilled technicians. This artisan approach, while contributing to the car's unique character and quality, became a significant bottleneck, preventing any meaningful volume production and escalating costs exponentially for Vector Aeromotive. The complex manufacturing process inevitably led to severe production delays and escalating costs. Wiegert's perfectionism meant that no detail was overlooked, and no compromise was accepted, regardless of its impact on the timeline or budget. Customers who had placed substantial deposits often waited years for their cars, with some growing frustrated and even suing the company. These delays not only damaged Vector's reputation but also created immense financial pressure on the nascent company. The vision was pure, but the practicalities of bringing such a technologically ambitious project to market were proving increasingly difficult to manage. When the Vector W8 finally made its public debut, the reaction was a mixture of awe and skepticism. Its radical, futuristic design immediately drew attention, unlike anything else on the road. The aerospace inspiration was evident in every line, captivating enthusiasts and designers. However, the sheer audacity of its performance claims, coupled with the secrecy surrounding its development and the lack of independent validation, led many to question whether the W8 could truly deliver on its promises. Despite the impressive aesthetics, a cloud of doubt lingered over its tangible capabilities and real-world performance statistics. The highly anticipated road tests proved challenging. While the W8 was undeniably fast and visually striking, some independent evaluations raised questions about its drivability and the veracity of its extreme performance claims. For instance, the car's 3-speed automatic transmission, while robust, was not ideally suited for supercar performance, often criticized for its slower shifts compared to manual gearboxes in rivals. Moreover, achieving the claimed top speed of 220 miles per hour in a controlled, independently verified setting proved elusive, fueling further doubt among the press and public. This disconnect between ambition and execution began to erode Vector's credibility. The media's initial excitement gradually gave way to intense scrutiny. Critics pointed to the enormous price tag for a relatively unproven manufacturer, the extensive waiting lists, and the fact that few cars were actually being delivered. The secrecy surrounding the company's financials and its founder's often combative demeanor didn't help. Publications began to question whether Vector was a legitimate automotive enterprise or merely a perpetual prototype. This mounting skepticism, fueled by unfulfilled promises and limited access to production vehicles, created a challenging narrative for the brand in the highly competitive supercar market. Despite its futuristic appeal and astonishing claims, the Vector W8 struggled to gain widespread market acceptance. The ultra-high price, coupled with concerns about reliability, serviceability, and the company's long-term viability, deterred many potential buyers. Wealthy collectors and enthusiasts preferred to invest in established brands with proven track records. With only 17 production models ever sold, the W8 remained an exclusive curiosity rather than a genuine market contender. The dream of a mass-produced American supercar, even an exclusive one, was fading, succumbing to the harsh realities of market forces and brand trust. The immense costs of R&D, hand-building each car, and the protracted production delays placed an unsustainable financial strain on Vector Aeromotive. Operating on a shoestring budget for years, Wiegert constantly sought new investors to keep his dream alive. The lack of significant sales revenue meant the company was perpetually on the brink. This financial vulnerability made Vector an attractive target for external forces looking to capitalize on its innovative engineering and brand recognition. The stage was set for a dramatic shift in ownership and direction, threatening Wiegert's control over his life's work. Enter Megatech, an Indonesian holding company with substantial financial backing. In the mid-1990s, Megatech was expanding its automotive portfolio, famously acquiring a controlling stake in Lamborghini. Seeing potential in Vector's cutting-edge technology and established, albeit small, brand identity, Megatech began to take an interest. Their intent was clear: leverage Vector's engineering prowess, but perhaps not Weigurt's purest vision. This signaled an approaching storm for Weigurt, whose independent spirit and control over his creation were about to be severely tested by a corporate giant with very different priorities. In 1993, the inevitable occurred. Megatech initiated a hostile takeover of Vector Aeromotive. Through a series of aggressive financial maneuvers and legal actions, Megatech seized control of the company, effectively ousting Gerald Weigurt from the very entity he had founded and painstakingly built. It was a brutal corporate battle, leaving Weigurt feeling betrayed and robbed of his legacy. This marked a turning point for Vector. No longer guided by a singular, uncompromising vision, the company was now subject to corporate directives focused on profitability and shared platforms, fundamentally altering its original ethos and direction. Unwilling to surrender his life's work, Gerald Weigurt engaged in a protracted legal battle against Megatech. He argued that the takeover was illegitimate and that his intellectual property rights had been violated. This was more than just a fight for a company, it was a deeply personal struggle for creative ownership and justice. While Weigurt would eventually regain some rights to his original W8 designs and future Vector trademarks years later, the immediate outcome saw him locked out of his own factory, unable to influence the direction of the brand he had poured his soul into. The damage, both financial and emotional, was immense. Under Megatech's control, Vector Aeromotive took a decidedly different path. The new management, focused on streamlining operations and leveraging existing assets, moved away from Weigurt's bespoke, aerospace-inspired approach. The goal shifted from uncompromising innovation to creating a more marketable product using shared platforms to reduce costs and complexity. This meant a departure from the W8's radical individuality towards a more conventional, albeit still exotic, supercar design. The era of the pure, hand-built road-going aircraft was over, replaced by a strategy aimed at commercial viability and broader appeal. The first product of this new era was the Vector M12, unveiled in 1995. This was Megatech's attempt to revive the Vector nameplate, but with a fundamentally different philosophy. The M12 was essentially a rebodied Lamborghini Diablo, leveraging Megatech's ownership of both brands. While it still retained some of Vector's aggressive styling cues, the underlying engineering was Italian, not American. This move aimed to reduce development costs and provide a more proven platform, but it also diluted the unique identity that Weigurt had meticulously forged, blurring the lines between a visionary American creation and a rebadged European exotic. The decision to use the Lamborghini Diablo as the M12's foundation was a pragmatic one. Megatech owned Lamborghini, making the integration of its powertrain and chassis relatively straightforward. The M12 utilized the Diablo's potent 5.7-liter V12 engine and its 5-speed manual gearbox. While this offered a proven, high-performance drivetrain, it meant sacrificing the W8's unique American engineering identity. The M12 became a hybrid, a visually distinctive body draped over Italian mechanicals. This compromise aimed for reliability and accessibility of parts, but at the cost of the raw, pioneering spirit that defined the original Vector W8. The M12's design, while still aggressive, represented a significant departure from the W8's iconic, angular aesthetic. It was smoother, more rounded, reflecting the contemporary supercar trends of the mid-90s, but losing some of the W8's brutalist charm. The large, rounded headlights and more conventional proportions made it less alien, arguably more palatable to a broader market. However, for purists and fans of the original Weigurt vision, this was a step backward. The M12 looked less like a road-going aircraft and more like a competitor in the existing supercar arena, blending in rather than standing out. While the M12 benefited from a V12 engine, its performance figures were, surprisingly, a step down from the W8's ambitious claims. The Diablo-sourced 5.7L V12 produced 492 horsepower and 425 lb-ft of torque. This translated to a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 4.8 seconds and a top speed of 190 miles per hour. These numbers were respectable for the mid-90s, but they fell short of the W8's declared 220 mph plus and sub-4-second sprint. For a brand built on extreme performance, the M12's figures, combined with its heavier curbed weight of approximately 3,700 pounds, felt like a retreat, not an advancement, in the realm of raw speed. A direct comparison of the W8 and M12's performance highlights the drastic shift in Vector's trajectory. The W8, with its twin-turbo V8, boasted higher horsepower and torque, leading to superior claimed acceleration and top speed. The M12, while featuring a charismatic V12, offered more conservative figures. This wasn't merely a difference in engine configuration, it reflected divergent engineering philosophies. The W8 pursued ultimate, uncompromised performance through radical innovation, while the M12 prioritized a more refined, commercially viable package. It was a trade-off that alienated the hardcore enthusiasts who revered the W8's raw power. Beyond performance, the design philosophies of the W8 and M12 represented two distinct eras for Vector. The W8 was a pure product of Weigert's aerospace-driven vision, prioritizing brutalist functionality, sharp angles, and an undeniable otherworldly presence. Its form followed a perceived function of ultimate speed and aerodynamic efficiency. The M12, conversely, adopted a more organic, flowing aesthetic, heavily influenced by its Lamborghini underpinnings. While beautiful in its own right, it lacked the W8's singular, confrontational identity. This shift from radical innovation to market-driven aesthetics symbolized the brand's loss of its original, unique direction. The Vector M12 entered a hyper-competitive supercar market already dominated by established giants like Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Porsche, not to mention the emerging McLaren F1. Priced originally at around $220,000 in 1996, it found itself in a challenging position. While its Lamborghini V12 was a strong selling point, its rebodied nature meant it struggled to differentiate itself sufficiently from the very car it was based upon. Buyers with that budget typically opted for the proven pedigree and prestige of a true Lamborghini, making the M12 a difficult sell against iconic, uncompromised rivals. The market simply wasn't convinced by its hybrid identity. The M12's sales figures were even more disappointing than those of its predecessor. Despite the backing of Megatech and the use of a proven Lamborghini engine, only 14 production M12s, plus 4 prototypes, were ever built and sold between 1995 and 1999. This was far below Megatech's projections and a clear indication of the market's indifference. The price was later slashed to around $184,000 in an attempt to move inventory, but it was too little, too late. The M12 failed to capture the imagination or the wallets of supercar buyers, becoming a footnote in automotive history rather than a celebrated chapter. Consumer perception of the M12 suffered greatly due to its perceived loss of identity. Enthusiasts admired the W8 for its daring, unique American engineering. The M12, however, was seen as a compromise, a blend of Italian mechanicals and an American shell that didn't fully commit to either heritage. It lacked the groundbreaking innovation of the W8 and the undeniable prestige of a pure Lamborghini. This identity crisis left potential buyers confused and uninterested, illustrating a crucial lesson: in the exclusive world of supercars, authenticity and a clear, compelling brand story are often as important as raw performance figures and established components. Another critical factor in the M12's failure was the lack of a robust dealer and service network. Vector, even under Megatech, was a niche player without the extensive global reach of its competitors. Limited dealerships meant limited visibility, limited sales opportunities, and significant concerns for potential owners about servicing and parts availability. For an exotic car, reliable support is paramount. Without it, even a technically competent vehicle struggles to gain traction. This infrastructure deficit hobbled the M12's ability to compete, sealing its fate in a market where trust and convenience are luxury commodities. Megatech's interest in its automotive ventures proved fleeting. In 1998, just a few years after acquiring Vector and Lamborghini, Megatech sold Lamborghini to Audi AG. This strategic divestment left Vector in an even more precarious position. Without the direct link to Lamborghini and its V12 engine supply, the M12 project became unsustainable. The rationale for its existence vanished. This move signaled Megatek's broader disinterest in niche, high-performance brands, effectively pulling the rug out from under Vector and sealing the M12's fate as a failed experiment caught in corporate maneuvering. Following Megatek's divestment and the resulting loss of its core components, Vector Aeromotive spiraled into financial collapse. The company, already weak from its initial struggles and the M12's poor sales, could not sustain itself. Production ceased, employees were laid off, and the factory gates closed for good. The dream of a viable American supercar manufacturer, first envisioned by Gerald Wiegert and then briefly resurrected by Megatek, had definitively ended. It was a tragic conclusion to a story marked by both incredible innovation and profound corporate missteps, leaving behind a legacy of what-ifs. Gerald Wiegert, ever the resilient visionary, never truly gave up. After regaining some rights to his Vector name and designs, he continued to develop new concepts, notably the Avtec WX3 and WX8 models throughout the 2000s and 2010s. These vehicles maintained the aerospace-inspired styling and radical engineering principles of the original W8, promising even more outrageous performance. However, without the necessary capital and infrastructure, these later iterations remained largely prototypes and concept cars, never reaching meaningful production. His attempts were a testament to his unwavering belief, but also a stark reminder of the immense challenges facing independent supercar manufacturers. Today, the Vector W8 holds a unique, almost mythical, status among automotive enthusiasts. It represents the pinnacle of audacious American automotive engineering, a singular vision unburdened by corporate committees or market research. It dared to challenge the established order, employing advanced materials and radical design long before they became commonplace. The W8 stands as a monument to what could be achieved with passion, innovation, and a refusal to compromise, even if that refusal ultimately contributed to its commercial downfall. It's a testament to the power of a dream, however flawed its execution might have been. The Vector story is a classic case study in the tension between pure engineering vision and sound business acumen. Gerald Wiegert possessed an unparalleled vision for automotive innovation, pushing boundaries in materials and performance. However, his focus on engineering perfection often overshadowed the practicalities of mass production, cost management, and market strategy. Megatek, conversely, brought business pragmatism but lacked the unique design philosophy that defined Vector, resulting in the uninspired M12. The Vector saga underscores that even the most brilliant engineering requires robust business infrastructure to succeed in the cutthroat automotive industry. Despite its tumultuous history, the Vector W8 has found a new life as a highly coveted collector's item. Its rarity, unique styling, and the compelling story behind its creation have ensured its place in automotive lore. Surviving examples command significant prices at auction, often exceeding their original astronomical cost. For those who own them, a Vector W8 isn't just a car, it's a piece of American automotive history, a symbol of unyielding ambition and a reminder of a time when one man dared to dream of creating the ultimate machine, regardless of the odds or the eventual corporate outcome. One can't help but wonder, could Vector have succeeded under different circumstances? If Wiegert had embraced strategic partnerships earlier, or if Megatek had understood and preserved the W8's unique ethos, the outcome might have been different. Perhaps a collaboration with a major manufacturer, offering production expertise while retaining creative freedom, could have provided the best of both worlds. The story of Vector is a poignant reminder that while groundbreaking innovation is crucial, it's often the synergy of vision, practicality, and strategic alliances that truly define success in the fiercely competitive world of supercars, where dreams are built and broken. To fully appreciate the W8's ambition, let's compare it to a contemporary legend, the Ferrari F40. The F40, launched in 1987, was a raw, analog masterpiece. It weighed around 2,400 pounds, produced 471 horsepower from its twin-turbo V8, and hit 201 miles per hour, priced around $400,000. The W8, 3 years later, boasted 625 horsepower, a 220 mph plus claim, and a more technologically advanced composite construction, all for a slightly higher price. While the F40 had proven pedigree, the W8 represented a bold, technological leap. It was America's attempt to out-Ferrari, not just in speed, but in engineering prowess. Now consider the Vector M12 against its donor car, the Lamborghini Diablo, introduced in 1990. The Diablo, with its iconic V12, produced 492 horsepower and hit 202 miles per hour, priced around $239,000. The M12, launched 5 years later, offered identical engine performance but was visually distinct and initially priced at $220,000, later discounted. The critical difference was brand perception and legacy. Why buy an M12, a rebody, when the original, prestigious Diablo was available, and often for a similar or slightly higher, but justified, price? The M12 struggled to carve out its own niche, overshadowed by its more famous sibling. Despite the failures, there's an enduring allure to the Vector W8, precisely because it was an underdog. It defied conventions, operated outside the established automotive empires, and pursued a vision that was singularly American. In a world where supercars often follow predictable paths, the W8 was a glorious anomaly. Its story resonates with anyone who champions innovation against the odds, even when that journey leads to a spectacular crash. It's a powerful narrative of ambition that pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible, a true what-if in the annals of automotive history that continues to inspire and intrigue. The Vector saga offers valuable lessons on the delicate balance of risk and reward in high-stakes industries like automotive manufacturing. Weigert's pursuit of unparalleled innovation was his greatest strength and his ultimate undoing. Without the scale and financial buffer of a major corporation, even brilliant engineering can crumble under the weight of production realities and market demands. The M12's failure, conversely, showed that sacrificing unique identity for corporate expediency can lead to indifference. Success requires not just a groundbreaking product, but a sustainable business model that honors its origins while adapting to market forces. Today, the Vector W8 remains an enigmatic symbol. It's a forgotten chapter to many, but a treasured legend to those who know its story. Its dramatic rise and fall encapsulate the inherent risks of automotive pioneering, a testament to the fact that even the most visionary ideas require more than just passion to thrive. The W8 stands as a monument to what could have been, a powerful reminder of a distinctly American attempt to conquer the global supercar stage. Its mystique endures, a whisper of a dream that once promised to reshape the future of high-performance automobiles, a dream that still captivates imaginations.